1000. This is day 1049. The Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If I could sponsor Kang Shemar, the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please come me directly. Very greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Siman. You're there. Siman Pei Ches Sif Tes to Pei Tes Sif Dalid. Test. Vafilo Makirim says even if they know each other, they're acquainted with each other. Also, Shemeka b'nei, they made some distinction between the two of them. Going to call Echad Ochel Mapa. Show each person eating on his own cloth. Or feel Ochel Mapa Achas, even in one cloth. That's when they pass the hecker. They put them between them a loaf of bread for a sign. Mutzar says so. Dafka Shein Ochlim in pas Munach. Obviously, we're talking about where they're not eating from that loaf of bread, which is basically between the two of them for a sign. If they're eating from it, if only one of them two is eating from it, it's not considered to be a sign. Because under all normal circumstances, the bread from which you're eating is on the table. They need another type of sign. You can go and know by name. Which is to put the pitcher from which they're drinking between the two of them. It's not normally on the table. The odds have heck, and then it's a sign. Even though they're drinking from the vessel. Those say that if they're drinking from it, it's not considered to be hecker. No matter what. The Achronim have determined if it's not normally on the table, have heck, it is a sign. So they put there a lamp or shard for it, or other things, which are not normally on the table, to have heck, it's a sign. Therefore, a menorah at night, where the light is only on the table, it's not considered to be a sign, unless they put in a place that doesn't normally stand. Because then it is a sign. Good. There's a question. That which she wrote when they eat in one cloth. Put something between the two of them as a sign. How can you have on one cloth meat and milk? When they they cling to the cloth and they'll get mixed up with each other. And the truth is that all Israel has the custom that they have the designated tablecloth, the basar, the mappa, and designated tablecloths for milk. But this story about a new tablecloth, or chiskabs, or one which is recently laundered, because each one eats on a separate corner. But there's no concern that things are going to adhere to the cloth and then get mixed up. Because of those who wrote the when you put a plate of meat on the table, and then you put a pot of milk in its place, it absorbs the taste of the meat. And answers of the pot, which is a very stunning thing. We do not hold that way. We hold that absorbed taste does not travel, does not migrate from vessel to vessel, which happens to see one study base. Yes, study base is in Arukh HaShulchan, because of course I'm going to have rum. Nevertheless, one should be careful about this. Because it's not possible that there's a little bit. I guess it's kind of escape a bit of the plate falling, spilling, makdera, and also of the pot. And that is a complete and legitimate concern. The minhag is widespread. So now all kitchens, there's a special bench to put down the fleshik pot, and a special bench to put down the milking pot. And everything of milk and of meat. They have specific vessels. Jews are holy and they're very machmir on this issue. Should be careful. Somebody eating meat. The second person is eating milk. They should not drink from one vessel. Because the food in their mouth clings to the vessel in which they are drinking. Even there are two different tables. There are two different guests. In other words, there are two different accounts in the inn. Also, they're forbidding low shabbos shasir. Not if not that time they drink. He cancels the same. They clean off their lips very well. Koshken shelo yochumi pas echad. There's such not even the same low bread. Im lo shesoin lachtok b'sakin naki unless they're very careful to cut it with a clean knife. Kanchi them yofa and after they've wiped their hands well. When they are cutting the bread. Also, people use a separate salt cellar for meat and for milk by itself. And there are bits of food which are left in the salt cellar, mamelach, in the salt. Even take the salt in your hand, there's still some traces of the food. Need buckle and clean to salt. Call Yisrael, all of Am Yisrael, the minute Yosem came milk, clean milk, basabat, cholavar. You have separate salt shakers for milk and for meat. The truth is about salt cellars, not as about salt shakers. Salt shakers are much more lenient because obviously it's shaking from it and not dipping into it. For that, the age because of those who wrote the Mishach bosses, ate meat, anal, they shave, talk shows, shave shows. He should not say within the next 6 hours. It's Mishach, the next time he's eating milk. The Mishlei maybe we're going to forget and eat. Don't pay attention to such a chumrah. Lo nitaku ma'achol chol v'tzor sudacheres. Because according to the Gemara, the women who ate meat should not fix milchik dishes for the next meal. Shemesh kubi nu talk b'yam, because they might forget and put in their mouths. Elavade did lace man the chashlu. Nobody's concerned with such a stringency. The Bag says chikas abrim v'gade veha. It's the Yud Aleph, wherever the Yud Aleph is. Don't see Yeshomim. I know this. But in being on the Suda, other was in terms of eating a meal. These Barbar Chaim Siman Kuf Ayin Gimel is clarified on Chaim. Brack says here, he says, Yud Aleph again. I've been told Achas Shteotzos. Whether the expenditure is one or two expenditures, the people are saying they're eating from the same account or not. By Tasif Katan Gimel. Okay, Sim Petesh, for 6 hours after eating meat, you should not eat milk. Of course, two writes, you not eat meat, doesn't matter if it's for behema or chay or off, should not eat cheese afterwards, ashiyisha b'shir, till you wait the amount of time, that normally is between the morning meal and the evening meal, which is 6 hours. The bracket says, Tamedios. In other words, 6 hours on the clock. For Reva Mesley, it's 1/4 of a 24-hour day. Now, if you if you waited that long, if you know you have meat between your teeth, so you have to remove it. Within that time, I feel even there is no meat between the teeth, also it's forbidden because the meat exudes fattiness, moshech tam, and the taste lingers azman aroch to a long time. Please according to this time, if you didn't eat, el shalosu tinok is chewed for a child and then gave it to the child. Answer nothing enough the way the came in didn't eat it. Eno moti tam doesn't release the taste for that long. Rama tasan tam l'shia. The Rama gives the reason for waiting. Mishum bazish time because the meat between the teeth. According to his perspective, Rashi Shah Kishir has after waiting the proper amount of time. Mutter. It's mitzvah. Feel nisha basar the meat remains between the teeth. It doesn't have a chalais shame basar anymore. For less the thing somebody chooses for a child, tzarech lamtin, he has to wait. But tov la'achos b'chumei shnei atamim. It's best to take the chumras of both sides. Based on the that was two wrote the Rambam Achasheshos Mutter Gam Yesh Bos Meishnaim. As to tell us, even if there's meat amongst the gums, amongst the teeth, the Gam ain't Chashuv and Kamuchal because that at that point it says they digested. Yesh Mishachol Cholik. Those who argue. Amikom Walehu, but because there's explicit pasuk Basar Ben Shneim. As long as the meat is between their teeth, it still has a chalais shame basar. Gemara Lami said the Basar Meishnaim have a basar. Between this bus, it's a pre-chodesh. I'm not bamish mitilim muchal dahai mikre myre rock b'toch sheshos. But from Tehillim it's clear this is only talking about within 6 hours. So it says lo zoru mitavasam or ochlam bifihem. They did not distance themselves from their desires. Their food is still in their mouth. So the meat was not yet digested. It's explicit in Sifri. Yochol, do I say, consume men harbe. Just like they gather a lot, so they ate a lot, the meat was still between their teeth. Once he put the meat in his mouth, he didn't have time with the slav to chew it. Before he died. King Shemra, it says, they were not rendered far into the desires. The meal was still in their mouth. End quote. The shears at the basar see that this shear of meat still between the teeth is juxtaposed to eating. But it's not talking about after 6 hours. But now there we show the first opinion, la mikra yolif. We don't learn from basar. The basar of shayim mikra basar gam achashay shows that the meat after 6 hours is still called basar. It was between the teeth. Mikra yolif, but rather from basar we learn the basar shebein shnayim, the meat between the teeth. Ikre basar is called meat. And we may learn that automatically comes out to the gam achashay shows kenu. So also after 6 hours, the same thing. The Kodesh shows ain't tzarech lebasar shebein shnayim. Before 6 hours, it's also without meat between the teeth. Shreyatam nimshach adayin, because the taste still there. The Rambam alimu dafka al kodem sheishos. Rambam is specifically learning for before 6 hours. Somewhat confusing. Beis vinei lefi gimel. Sorry, vinei lefi mashi's bar. According to that, we learned the dairy should according to first opinion. So also you have to floss out the meat, pick out the meat, which is between the teeth. Even after 6 hours. The Rama ain't according to Rama, you don't have to pick it out after 6 hours. So don't consider meat. Conversely, before 6 hours, the picking doesn't work. Rambam. That's the question. Gemara there. The primary question: what's the sense of meat between the teeth? Meaning, does picking work with this meat the toch shesh within 6 hours or within 6 hours not? Patient responded, came in the Torah across the bus since the Torah calls it meat, no mani nikor. It's not picking out is not effective. Even after you picked it out, somehow, somewhere, there's taste there which is said to be meat. That's the Bach. Question can't be if it's called meat altogether. Primary is just because of whatever taste there is before 6 hours. So what question is it? It's clear, it's like we said, that before 6 hours, even if you picked out it's osir. This is not because of the taste, like I just assumed, rather because we're afraid you didn't pick it out properly. The Mepharshei say this. It's very difficult to say. Why shouldn't it work to pick it all out? Why should we consider it might not pick it out properly? So that doesn't sound away from the Rambam. Sure, it's so parak test. He writes in Lashono, begin quote Mishach Basa b'chulei somebody ate meat, etc. We shouldn't eat meat on milk. Till there's a gap between them. They share suda, the shear of a meal. Which is about 6 hours. Because of the meat between the teeth. Because it doesn't get removed by wiping out Akan Shara. Say the Gamanikure, no, sir. The picking, not just by wiping, even by picking doesn't get removed. Say it says removed not by wiping nor by picking. By picking does get removed. And now we're going to ask what about the meat between the teeth? Nearly Rambam interprets the B'tmiyah. It's as astonishing. Since the primary purpose because the meat between the teeth. Therefore they ask, Mao, what's its klomar meaning? What is it? What's the name of says? Right? Mazev. This we have to wait 6 hours. So, Kamro, And that's as if it's saying mahu. In other words, mahu and mem hey vav. It's like asking mahu mem hey, new word hey vav aleph. Klamar mashli, so what's its significance? Yeshivlo, he said, responding mikra from the pasuk that in Mishnayim, the meat is still between the teeth. Shatere koase bosor. So what's the meat? Miladina alone, afkina meat event. Allah has no difference. Tanakaimlo, we hold the ikar primarily kaderi shon shudas Rashi does or a bitskin that it's only the meat as long as it's there, as long as you didn't pick it out. But nevertheless, that eating lost the tinok because of the taste, even you chew for a child. You have to wait 6 hours because of the meat between the teeth. I guess I think I misspoke right now. According to Rashi, the issue is that because bus is most shuman, so that's why it's 6 hours. And Cheshish for the Ram also that you didn't take out properly. Yeah, so let me do it again. The shows you that Rashi that there's still a taste of the meat, the taste of the place that the issue is perhaps you didn't pick your mouth properly. You lost the tinok if you chew for a child. The tzarech shows. That's why if you chew a child, still wait 6 hours, and they have busted b'shaim because of the meat between the teeth, even though it don't have the taste of meat which is actually consumed, but there's still the meat between the teeth issue. Rabbeinu Yosef, he says because of sivav acha basar, if you ate meat, feel shel chayav of, even of a chaya or of an oaf lo yochal gvin akrav, should not eat cheese afterwards. Ashi yisheh sheishos to wait 6 hours. Afilu shok a shear. If you wait that long, yesh basar ben yoshav, there's meat between the teeth. So you have to remove it. Unless the tinok somebody choose for a child, so the has to eat also kalashano. Actually, I can see he says also ganking shaloni ke'ashinai. You didn't pick your teeth. From language, from simple language, superficial language doesn't sound like it makes a difference. Not clear. I'm telling you, so being 6 hours, you be so the end of the meal of meat, to the beginning of the meal of milk. Even at the beginning of the meal, you're not going to eat milk. The second we're not going to milk. At the end of the meal, you didn't eat meat. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure everybody's so machmir about that. If I recall correctly, maybe we'll see later on. But according to this, it doesn't make a difference. You stop eating meat an hour before you benched, or begin eating milk an hour after you start washed. Doesn't matter. It goes from the end of the meal to the beginning of the meal.